Welcome to Twisted Terrors. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Jake and Ryan had been friends since childhood. Every year, they challenged each other to a new wilderness trip, somewhere tougher, wilder. This time, Alaska was the prize. They flew into Anchorage, shouldered heavy packs, and disappeared into the endless sprawl of mountains and spruce. The first days were everything they hoped for. The air was crisp, the rivers pure, the land alive with silence. They crossed caribou trails, saw a distant moose, even spotted the shadow of a bear lumbering across a ridge. It felt like the edge of the world, untouched and perfect. But by the fourth night, something changed. Ryan woke first, long before dawn, to the sound of crunching snow. He assumed it was a moose, maybe a wolf. But the sound circled the tent, slow, deliberate. He held his breath, gripping the hunting knife he kept near his bag. The steps stopped. Then, after a long pause, they moved away into the trees. He didn't mention it to Jake the next morning. No sense spooking him. The trail grew stranger as they pushed deeper. Animals they should have seen, birds, squirrels, even rabbits, were absent. The silence pressed in, thick and unnatural. By the sixth day, Ryan noticed claw marks in the trees, too high and too wide to be a bear's. Jake laughed it off, but his laugh was thin, forced. That night, the whispering began. It came with the wind, faint at first. Ryan thought it was sleep paralysis, the way the voice brushed his ear though no one was near. Words he couldn't understand. Wet, rasping syllables that raised the hair on his arms. Jake confessed he heard them too, but swore it was just the gale sweeping down the valley. On the seventh day, they found tracks. Not an animal, not human. The prints were long, splayed, with too many toes. They sank deep into the snow, heavier than a man could press, and led in a looping trail that always seemed to circle their camp. "Whatever it is, it's following us," Ryan said, voice low. They argued about turning back. Supplies were running low, and the map said they still had 3 days before the nearest ranger station. Jake wanted to push forward, faster. No more campfires, no more wasted time. Ryan agreed, though every step felt like walking into a trap. That night, the voices grew louder. The whispers weren't carried by the wind anymore. They rose from the trees, from the ground itself. Ryan sat upright in his sleeping bag, knife ready. Jake sat across from him, pale in the moonlight. Neither of them slept. The following morning, Ryan found something beside the tent. A strip of fabric, bright orange, faded, torn. He lifted it with trembling hands. It was part of a jacket sleeve, but the cuff was crusted with old blood. They weren't the first ones here. By evening, snow began to fall heavy, muffling everything. They trudged on, heads down, until Jake froze mid-step. Ahead of them, half buried in the snow, stood a tree with something nailed to its trunk. It was a boot. Inside it, still laced, was a foot. Jake swore under his breath. Ryan gagged, bile burning his throat. And then, from the white silence around them, something shifted. Not a bear, not a wolf. Something tall. They never saw it clearly. Not all at once. Just flashes between the trees. A figure too long-limbed, its head cocked at an unnatural angle, its skin pale against the dark trunks. The whispers rose into a chorus now, clawing at their minds, urging them to look closer, to come nearer. "Run!" Jake screamed. They tore through the snow, lungs burning, hearts hammering. Branches whipped their faces, ice slashed their skin. Behind them, the thing moved effortlessly, gliding between trees, closing the distance with terrifying speed. Ryan stumbled, crashing to the ground. Jake spun, hauling him up, but in that instant he saw it, just yards away. Hollow sockets where eyes should be, a mouth that opened too wide, spilling steam into the cold night. The whispers became words, finally clear. "Come back." They broke free onto a frozen river, moonlight painting the valley silver. The thing stopped at the tree line, watching, whispering, waiting. Jake and Ryan ran until their legs gave out. When they finally looked back, the valley was silent again. Sometimes in the untouched forest of Alaska, the bears, moose, elk, and wolves aren't the only predators to fear. As always, thanks so much for watching. Your support is much appreciated.